Hello there, Mia Gradney with a look at what's making headlines in Houston, starting with new details on what appears to have helped lead to a major crack in the Texas killing fields cases. We're learning more about information from a suspect that was provided to one of the alleged victims' fathers during dozens of meetings. Jason Miles has more from the Galveston County Jail.
This is where a man arrested yesterday is being held without bond tonight, more than 40 years after this saga began for multiple families. Texas EquiSearch volunteers showed up to support the organization's founder this morning as Tim Miller addressed the murder of his daughter Laura, and now an arrest tied to it more than 40 years later.
Over the last 4 years, I spent minimum of 30 times with James Elmore.
Elmore, seen here being brought to the jail yesterday, is charged with manslaughter and tampering with evidence in connection with Miller's murder and one other from the mid-1980s.
I can say this, there was times that I left James Elmore and he told me some stuff, and I was as strong as I could be in front of him, but I had to pull over and just sob and cry with the information I got.
District Attorney Kenneth Cusick says Miller approached him shortly after his appointment to the job late last year, prompting the office to take a fresh look at the evidence and pursue any appropriate charges.
I'm here to tell you that we did that. I fulfill my promise to Mr. Miller.
We've covered Miller's mission related to his own daughter's death many times over the decades. This is video from 1998. He plans to keep helping other families find justice as something finally develops for his.
We got other girls to find. We got closure to bring more families.
Miller and other families regret that Elmore's alleged accomplice, Clyde Hedrick, died just last week as his case was being presented to a grand jury. The DA telling us he was tied to at least 4 murders. The DA also confirming today that Hedrick committed suicide. Reporting from Galveston, Jason Miles, KHOU 11 News.
Here we go again. We're seeing another increase in catalytic converter thefts. This week, police say thieves targeted a FedEx facility in the Willowbrook area, snatching catalytic converters off several trucks. Maria Aguilera has the latest in this case and why investigators explain these crimes are on the rise again.
At this facility in northwest Harris County, suspects cut a hole through a fence, got inside, and damaged 10 FedEx vehicles, all to rip out catalytic converters. That's according to the sheriff's office. In Houston, police say they're seeing these thefts tick back up.
In the last 3 months, we have seen a small increase
after a drop in recent years. Sergeant Tracy Hicks says it all comes down to money.
The price of the metals it plummeted. It went way down. So there was no real profit in stealing the cats anymore.
Now, as prices shift, cases are creeping back. Officials say this is exactly the kind of target thieves are after. Multiple vehicles in one place so they can hit several at once. But it's not every vehicle suspects are after.
It's mostly the big trucks and the large SUVs. The bigger the catalytic converter, the more money it's worth.
HPD says the most targeted: Toyota Tundra, Tacoma, Sequoia, Mitsubishi Outlander, and Ford trucks and vans, not smaller cars. Police say this is preventable. Park in well-lit areas, upgrade your alarm, and consider a protective shield.
There's no reason to become a victim of these crimes. They're very preventable.
And after the 2022 killing of Harris County Deputy Darren Almendares, who was shot by thieves attempting to steal his catalytic converter, the state passed tougher laws, giving police more tools to crack down on these thefts. In northwest Harris County, Maria Aguilera, KHOU 11 News.
What starts as a simple trip to the beach or a ride home from work can end up in immigration detention. KHOU 11 investigates how law enforcement in Texas is becoming a front line in federal immigration enforcement. And Jeremy Rogowski found we're not talking about hardened criminals being picked up.
A simple midday meal is a stark reminder of how times are tight in this East Texas home ever since the breadwinner is no longer here.
I work, but I don't make money like him. Elvin, he's the provider.
Elvin Moncada Carcamo came to America as a teenager to raise a family and work hard. He was on the road with a construction crew, his wife says, when their trailer blew a tire and hit a guardrail. State police say 2 others tried to flee, but Elvin remained at the accident scene.
I would understand why they would take a criminal, but that's not my dad. My dad's not a criminal. He did nothing. He was just a passenger.
But state troopers notified ICE and held her dad for not having legal status in the U.S. An agency spokesperson said all these efforts improved the public safety, and DPS stands ready to assist our federal partners as we protect and serve the people of the state.
What's really happening is that we're not getting rid of the worst of the worst. We're just picking people up
and locking them up, with judges rarely granting bond, says the family's attorney, Rebecca Rodriguez.
I can't do anything. This is the way it is now.
As a lawyer, you feel helpless?
A lot of us do.
KHOU 11 Investigates reviewed hundreds of cases in federal court and found everyday situations leading to ICE detentions. A woman checking the air in her tire, passengers in cars pulled over for routine traffic stops, or this.
41.
A group of friends hanging out on Bolivar Peninsula who left their car on the side of the road.
They really are just chilling on the beach.
On this night, body camera video shows an ICE agent riding along with Galveston County Sheriff's deputies. 3 young men are detained as part of a growing partnership between local law enforcement and the Fed.
I think they're much more indiscriminate about who they're going after.
Robert Hoffman is an immigration attorney in that case.
They want people to feel uncomfortable no matter what you're doing, whether you're driving down the road, minding your own business, whatever that activity might be, they want you to feel uncomfortable. They want people to give up and go home.
Galveston County Sheriff Jimmy Fullen.
Are these hardened criminals that are getting arrested?
Well, they're people that are undocumented.
That's not the question, though. Are they hardened criminals? Have they committed?
I wouldn't. They may have, or they may not have.
So we took a closer look. So far this year, Galveston County deputies on patrol picked up 69 immigrants under the partnership, compared to just 11 the same time last year. That's a 527% increase. And those detained were for immigration violations only, not for other crimes.
So this effort is not going after the worst of the worst, if you will.
I wouldn't say the effort is going after anybody. It's if we happen to come in contact with somebody and they're not here legally, then we take enforcement action on that.
Are you approaching people simply because of the color of their skin?
Absolutely not. And I'm offended that you would even ask that question.
It's a question many immigrant families are asking. Families torn apart, families with hardships. Like Yanira Cortez's youngest daughter, who suffers from chronic kidney failure and needs constant care.
It's not easy when you have a child with a lot of issues.
What is your fear?
I don't know what I'm doing next.
Cortez tells me she speaks with her husband on the phone nearly every day to try and keep his spirits up as his immigration case proceeds in court. And one more note about Galveston County. Sheriff Fullen says ICE agents no longer ride along with his deputies. They did so, he says, only under the initial training phase of the program. Back to you.
We'll take it from here. And that's it for your Houston headlines. I'm Mia Gradney. We'll see you next time.